Welcome back, students. This is the reading section of your review. Excuse me. We will be reading about promoting science literacy. So I will read these to you. Make sure that you listen and follow along in your book. If you don't understand, listen again and you may use your dictionary. All right, so here we go. Promoting science literacy. Do you like to learn about science? Science can frighten most people who feel that it is too difficult and is only available to the smartest and most educated people. Scientific texts can be intimidating and be too complicated for many of them to read. Students may feel that science will always be beyond their understanding and prefer to choose an easier course of study. However, there are many parents who hope their children will choose a profession in the sciences, such as medicine, research, or engineering. In addition, developing scientific thinkers is needed to solve some of our most challenging problems, such as global warming and pollution. What makes scientific texts so difficult to read? They often contain large amounts of information and present very complex ideas. They may also include a lot of unfamiliar scientific terms. One way to understand these complex ideas is to break them into smaller pieces or chunks that are easier to understand. All right, this word here, a chunk, es un sección. So, por ejemplo, si no entiendes este párrafo, este es un chunk, estas dos oraciones aquí. So, a chunk es una pieza de algo más grande. All right, so back to here. Developing students' scientific literacy means increasing their ability to think like a scientist. This includes questioning things, making predictions, and setting up experiments to test if the predictions are correct. It also includes an understanding of how little chunks of information connect to each other to explain how the world works. One of the biggest challenges for teachers and learners is making a connection between science and the real world. In some primary schools, students study science through projects, like taking care of a class pet or growing seeds in a paper cup. Students may go on school trips to natural settings for study and research. They can learn how to observe, collect samples, and categorize and record their findings. This approach makes science more appealing easier to understand and creates connections to the students' lives. This is a holistic way to learn about science. Unfortunately, not all schools have the resources for this kind of study. So, not every student has this opportunity. High school courses, on the other hand, rarely use a holistic approach. They usually focus on different subject areas such as chemistry, biology, physics, and astronomy, which are more complex. Therefore, students are often focused on learning smaller chunks of information, such as memorizing scientific theories and learning scientific words. They may not make connections between science and real-world uses for it. Some scientists are trying to make science more understandable and improve people's scientific literacy skills. These scientists, such as Brian Cox, Bill Nye, and Neil deGrasse Tyson, bring science to the public through interesting and popular TV shows. They make science easier to understand and even make it fun to learn. Some of these shows have even been incorporated into national school programs. It's important for students to develop literacy skills in science as the world requires more creative solutions to most difficult and challenging problems. Making science accessible and appealing to students should be a goal for all schools. All right. Si no entendiste, lo siento. Escuche otra vez y puedes investigar, usar su diccionario. Now we will go to section A. Read these sentences. Would the author agree or disagree? Number 1. Most schools do a good job in teaching scientific literacy. All right, the author, agree or disagree? All right, so you can look back here and try to find the answer. So this is a challenge. All right, here it talks about schools. They usually focus on areas, chemistry, biology, physics. Therefore, focus smaller chunks. They may not make connections. So I would say most schools do a good job in teaching scientific literacy. I would say the author disagrees because of this part. They may not make connections between science and real-world uses for it. Okay, number 2. Scientific literacy includes questioning new ideas. All right, let's see, where would that be? Science in the real world, right here. No. Here you go. This includes questioning things. Everything that is in this section right here is scientific literacy, includes questioning new ideas. So agree. And this section here is basically the scientific method in English. That's what we would call it. Number 3, television shows can improve scientific literacy. I would say the author agrees because he talks about this. They make science easier to understand and fun to learn. All right. Advanced science concepts should be taught through memorization. All right, so let's go to here. Such as memorizing scientific theories or learning scientific words. They may not make connections. So, advanced science concepts should be taught through memorization. I would say the author would disagree. I believe that they would like this one, the holistic approach. Unfortunately, not all schools have the resources, so not every student has this opportunity. So there you go for that one. For section B, when it talks about underlined sentences, remember that's this, this, or this, or this. So it says choose 2. All right, so make sure you follow the directions in the document on Google Classroom for B and for C. So this one says choose one of the questions. So this one, or this one. And please follow the directions in the document. That is everything. Thank you for following along. And please remember to submit your work before Friday or on Friday, before Saturday. Thank you and adios.